You should receive your PASS report within a few minutes of submitting your PASS survey data. This is done by clicking on Report within your TestWise account. This was covered in Module 3. How to administer the assessment. The report comes in 3 levels for you to analyse. First, we look at your whole school, so that you can get an overview of the attitudes to learning that your students hold, averaged across all students who have been assessed. The second level starts to break this down by cohort, and the third level looks at individual pupil profiles. Remember, PASS is not anonymous, so you can see each pupil's profile to determine if there may be a need for intervention for those at risk. Please note that if you are part of a cluster, MAT or academy chain, there is an optional 4th level which is a cluster report. This looks at all the schools or academies within your group together. To find out more about cluster reports, please contact your area sales consultant. Here is an example of a whole school or cohort report. It provides you with the average score across all the pupils assessed. The blue bars and the corresponding numbers underneath are the mean percentages. These scores are unique to your school and do not make any comparison with any other school. Underneath these are a row of scores in coloured boxes, and these are percentile scores. These scores give you a comparison to show how your school compares with other schools nationally. Using the example shown here, the mean percentage score of feelings about school is 73.9%. This provides you with the average of how positive the attitudes of all your students are at the school. Please note, it is not saying that 73.9% of your students are happy with the school. So what is percentile score? At GL Assessment, we use several different standardized scoring systems in order to provide you with a reliable measure of how your students are doing when compared with their peers nationally. However, because PASS is measuring attitudes, and because these are not age-related, the only standardized measure we use is a percentile ranking, shown as a PR on this illustration. A percentile rank shows how an individual or group compares with their peers nationally. So if a student has a percentile score of 80 percentile, then this means that they are more positive than 79% of their peers nationally, but the same or less positive than 20% of their peers. Back in the PASS report, you will have noticed that the boxes the percentile scores are shown in are coloured. This is to help you identify the percentiles at a glance, and also to help you spot quickly those students who may be at risk, for whom it may be necessary to consider intervention. You will see this illustrated most clearly at the 3rd level, where we look at individuals. Basically, the hotter the colour, the greater your concern is likely to be. However, you should also bear in mind that a green score does not automatically mean that you do not need to worry. You should look at low green scores, and then, together with your knowledge of the individuals and groups involved, make your own judgment as to whether or not intervention is needed. Looking again at the top level of the report, the whole school or cohort level, we hope the numbers and colours are beginning to make more sense. Equally, you are hopefully starting to understand how to use different sets of data together, percentage and percentile. This is particularly relevant when you receive subsequent reports and start to make comparisons to analyse change. We have developed a document known as the PASS Workbook, which is a free download for you to use. It contains a set of questions designed to help you work your way through the report. It is in Word format so that you can record your discussions and action plans, which can then be easily referred to as you start to implement your chosen strategies for groups or individuals. The questions are grouped into 3 basic sections, as shown here, and they will encourage you to consider not just any low-scoring factors, but also the high-scoring ones too. Let's move on now to have a look at Level 2, where we start to look at the data more closely. You will have charts and data for each year group, gender and ethnicity, following the same format as Level 1. You can take this a stage further so that you have data on gender by year group as well as ethnicity by year group. And with Level 1, the data provided gives you percentage and percentile scores. Here is another Level 2 example, this time showing how year groups compare with each other. Finally, here is Level 3. You can see now how useful the colours are in terms of spotting quickly those students that are at risk as learners. However, don't just look at the red scores. Look out for the high green scores and consider why these students feel so positive. You should also look out for individual past profiles that don't match your perceptions. Sometimes past data may uncover feelings that you are unaware of, enabling you to act before it becomes too late. Finally, the bulk of your report comes to you in a PDF format, so that it is easy to read and work with. However, we also provide you with the individual pupil data in Excel format, so that you can use the features that Excel provides to manipulate your data. For more ideas on how to use the data, please have a look at Module 5. What does the data mean?